All right, so as many of you know, there has been a lot of solar activity lately. It has caused a lot of crazy weather all over the United States and the world. But I'm here to talk about something that I've noticed lately as a result of the extremely warm weather, unseasonably warm weather, or warm weather where I'm at, up in the mountains in Montana, up by some lakes. It's been 40 or 50 degrees for the past week and a half, and every time we get an inch or two of snow, we got 6 inches a couple weeks ago. The next week it was pretty much all melted, and last night we got a couple inches. It's all melting again. But I've been noticing, and so has my wife, that our chickens are putting out eggs that have these calcium deposits on the top of them, like this here, little nodules, and you can't really see it there, but anyways, that's pretty significant, and we've noticed a few of them. So this morning I decided to look it up, and this is what it says. This is pretty interesting. The egg is showing a calcium carbonate crystal overgrowth, basically the shell gland malfunction that causes excess calcium to precipitate on the shell while it was forming. Sometimes they call it a calcium bloom, lime pimples, calcium nodules, or shell gland deposits. Now, according to this, what that means is that while the egg is in the uterus, it normally gets a smooth coating of the calcium carbonate. But sometimes the calcium concentration spikes, or the blood calcium regulation has hiccups, or stress, heat, mineral imbalance, or illness occurs. Now, remember I said heat. 40 or 50 degrees does not seem that warm. But listen, what makes those barnacle-looking bubbles is the calcium crystallizes onto the shell in clumps instead of laying smoothly. When it happens, the calcium comes out of the solution too fast and it crystallizes. And it's not a mold or a fungus, it's just a bigger calcium deposit. What happens is the shell could get thinner elsewhere, it gives a weak membrane, and there's micro cracks. So you got to test them in water to see if they still float or sink, to make sure that they're good. You can smell them. It could be heat stress, too much calcium. When it's heat, the blood calcium is misregulated. When there's too much calcium, it causes precipitation, vitamin D imbalance, hen aging, and these are all fairly young hens, 3 years at the most. We inherited them from a friend of ours. But a fun fact about that is the same thing that causes this to happen, those calcium deposits on the top to cause these little nodules. It's the exact same mineral crystallization physics that makes stalactites in caves, which is crazy. Now, chemical question that has been going around for eons is, where does the calcium come from inside of a chicken to cover these eggs, or any reptile? They don't go out and drink calcium out of a pool. They're not eating teeth or bones. So there's some sort of alchemical transmutation that happens in their body based on what you feed them, or what they're eating and how their body materializes it or processes it, that gives them a calcium secretion. So that's interesting. Same thing as us, I guess. We don't go around eating bones and teeth, but we got bones and teeth and ears and cartilage and all that stuff. So with that information, anyways, I digress. We get back to them being free range, and it's been really warm outside right now, so I haven't been able to let them out, not because it's warm, but because, and I opened the cage to let them out, they don't want to go out because even though the snow's melting, there's still snow on the ground, and they don't like that. So I opened the door, but I let them stay inside. It's been really warm, and what that means is egg production slows when it's cold out, and they get these calcium barnacles. But their estrogen drops, and the shell gland goes into semi-dormant production status, because it's not really supposed to do that. Calcium metabolism downshift, and when the hens are in winter mode, those are the things that happen. Then Montana, we suddenly jump up to 40 or 50, which is basically spring temperatures for the chickens. Their shell glands lag behind the normal hormonal restart. So their body says, it's time to lay again, but their hormones aren't ready for that, so they start kicking in eggs. And we have been getting way more eggs than usual for this time of year. We've got 8 hens. We got 8 eggs this morning, 7 yesterday. We've been getting 6 pretty regularly each day, so that's pretty not normal. We do feed them really well, but when that happens, the calcium comes out of the solution and it crystallizes instead of laying smooth. So the blood calcium starts surging again before the shell glands regulation systems are fully calibrated. Their shell glands lag behind the hormonal restart, which is what I said before. And so what you literally get is mineral stalactites, pimple shells, popcorn shells, or barnacle eggs, like this. And what we're seeing now is when the warm temps come, they restart their laying hormones. And then when there's short daylight, like it is now, I mean, we just entered the winter solstice, so the days are starting to get longer again, but they're still short. When we reduce winter feed intake, their vitamin D swings because they don't get out to eat as many bugs and plants and things as they normally do because it's all covered and they don't like to get their feet cold. And then there's the SUV, so the calcium transports is unstable. So when there's less sun out and less sun hours in the day, they can't get out and get the sun into their skin and kick all those processes in to gear appropriately. The UV index is lower, so on and so forth. So it's a temporary metabolic recalibration artifact. It's not a disease. The hens are basically rebooting their mineral control systems. And you'll usually see 1 to 3 weird eggs, which is what we see every day, but usually only on the blue one. The chick that lays the blue eggs, which is odd. There's only one. Make sure, 1 to 3 weird eggs, and then the shells normalize, and that's true, and then the production increases. Yes. What you can do to prevent repeats, make sure that they have free choice oyster shell. I don't know what that means. Add 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar per gallon of water. We can do that. I'm going to start doing that. I drink apple cider vinegar every day. In fact, this is my concoction that I take a swill of almost every day in the winter season. It's equal parts apple cider vinegar, equal parts honey, equal parts lemon juice, organic lemon juice, and then however much cinnamon you think. Shake it up, let it dissolve well. And then you take a couple gulps in the morning and a couple gulps at night. It's good for you. But I'm going to start adding that to the chickens. Make sure they're getting at least 14 hours of light, even a dim bulb in the coop. And we have that on all the time. We have a small heat light, so that should be helping. And you keep the layer feed consistent. Don't switch winter blends suddenly. Well, we did that because we inherited them and they weren't getting what they needed. So that could be a little bit of what's going on there. But it says it's a good sign because we're about to see more eggs, better shells, and stronger birds after the small glitch passes. Your hens literally told you spring is coming with a mineral stalactite. Well, that's another thing that should be maybe in like a farmer's almanac or something, but I'm going to put it out there since I just kind of put it together, or at least the information was available. When you start to see these things on your eggs at home, generally would be an indicator that spring is on its way. I don't know what it means now because we're in January. We still haven't got winter yet. But I just thought that was interesting and I'd share that with you guys. So this is what's going on as a result of the weather and the solar flares. We're at the beginning of the end times. But this is cool. This is good information. And these are markers. These are biological markers to help you keep track of the signs and the times. This means that there is some odd weather happening if it's going on right now, and that there are some anomalies we need to pay attention to. If this happens in the normal seasons, I would say in February or March, then that would let you know that things are on track. So this, at this time of year, is something to pay attention to and be concerned about. But I just thought that was interesting and I'd share it with you guys. I hope people pay attention and listen. If not, whatever. I had fun and I learned something new and I'm sharing it with you. I'm just a vessel. Fill me up. Whatever I get filled with, I will share with whoever wants to listen. I love y'all. Peace.